Guys, welcome to episode 32 of the DRE Show. Today, we are going to be covering the topic of, well, it's not really the topic of, but we're going to be talking about dominating the DRE space, the digital real estate space, as a woman with zero sales experience. And for those of you men that are going, well, it's not going to be applicable to me, I promise you it will be, because it's not about being a woman. It's about having specific things that make us think that we can't do this because of X or because of Y or because of Z. And maybe for you, it's not the woman thing. Maybe it's not that you're a female in a male-dominated industry. Maybe it's that you don't have technical experience. Maybe it's that you've never done online at all. Maybe it's that you don't have sales experience, just like the guest that we're going to have on today. Maybe it's that you have never owned your own business. Maybe it's that you don't speak English as your first language, or you have a speech impediment, or this or that or the rest. It's not just about it. It's about the insecurity. It's about the yeah, but, because we all have yeah, but. So guys, if you're watching this, as you know, this is not being done live. And that is because I am probably on an airplane somewhere in Europe right now. I've got some business that I've got to attend to in London, and I thought that let's not risk it. Let me just record this thing and make sure it's good, solid, and the rest. So a couple of quick things. I'm going to bring our guest on, and we are going to crank. Number one, I just want to remind everybody, if you do not know where to start, maybe you've gone on this channel and you're like, hey, excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough. And by the way, I've got my sweat towel. The power's out. And the good news about the power being out, my internet's actually better because of a battery backup. So my internet should be better. The bad news is I don't have AC. So I'd actually probably prefer it being out. So we're good to go. But if you see me using the sweat towel, just deal with it, because it's just part of the game, baby. Housekeeping, real quick. If you're brand new to this channel, if you just discovered me, if you just discovered Rank and Rent, if you just discovered this thing called digital real estate, or whatever term you want to use, local lead gen, and you stumbled across me screaming into the camera, into the mic. And by the way, I hope my audio is working good. I've got I think we're good. Yeah, I'm just gonna, hopefully we're good. If not, I might have to re-record this, but I think we're good. Here's the mic. Hopefully the audio is better now that it's in front of me. Guys, if you're brand new and you're like, where the heck should I start? I got a couple of free resources. Obviously, this channel, I put out over 20 pieces of content every single week. I'm going to do that forever, period. I've already just told myself and sold myself, and I'm ready to go. We're good to go. I'm going to be putting out content. I am a content machine, and I'm just warming up, man. So for those of you that are watching that are my competitors, or if you think you're my competitor, good luck, because I'm just getting started. So good luck keeping up with the pace, my friends. I have a free resource over at rentsimplesites.com. It's a free training. You can go and see what this is all about, get your feet wet, see if it's something that you could see yourself doing, and just kind of wrap your mind around not just this business model, but how I do this business model, because it is very different from how they do this business model, okay? We also have a Discord channel. We talk about it in our links. We have a Discord channel if Discord's your flavor. If you don't like Discord or you don't know what that is, go over to Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Guys, my Facebook group, I've gotten so many people, I've literally made the comment that they've said the following: I cannot believe how much value is in your Facebook group. I cannot believe how much energy, how much activity, how many people. Guys, we're seeing more people get deals and make money in my free group than in half or more of the paid groups that I'm a part of or that other people are a part of. So we have the rentsimplesites.com. Grab the free training. We got the Discord channel. We got the Facebook group. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Discord, guys. We are just getting started. I hope you know right now you're going to get sick of me. So you may not. In fact, I encourage you not to subscribe to this channel, because you will get sick of me, okay? Now, real quick, for those of you that understand that time is the most valuable asset you have, fill out an application for our program. Go to our Facebook group, our Discord channel, go to digitallandlords.com, fill out an application for our Digital Landlords program. And guys, this is the quickest we have. That is what this all leads to, is I've done this. I've gone from not knowing what I'm doing, no technical experience, don't even know what a domain is, to making millions and millions of dollars every single year using this business model. And that is exactly what I'm giving you. I'm giving you the blueprint. I've got crazy support. We've got We got one person that just helps you with ads. If you got suspensions, if your ads aren't producing, we got a dedicated person for that. We have 2 admins that help with all the questions. We have Ashley that's been doing this for years. That's lightning quick. We have Kyle, who's been doing sales since 2014. We've got, we call him Cowboy Porter, or Daddy of Digital Real Estate. Porter is my little brother, who's also in there helping. We have so much support, guys. And you're surrounded by a community of people that are doing exactly what you guys are doing. I took a poll inside of our Facebook group and I said, why haven't you started? It's the question I asked. And I gave a couple different options. And I noticed that the majority of people that have not started yet, you know what all of them said? Money. Money. Guys, I don't even know what that means. What do you mean you haven't started because of money? You have, like, you want to make money, right? And if you don't have money, we need to go and find money. So I love the people that are sitting there going, well, I don't have money. So what? You either go and find it, you go find a solution to the problem. I don't care if you got to borrow, you got to beg, you got to go work another job, you got to drive Uber, you got to hit up your granny, you got to take out a loan. You have to get started somehow. And some of you guys are sitting there, well, I don't have money. Okay, fine. Then be broke your whole life. That's fine. But remember, you got one chance at this thing. You got one crack at this life. And some of y'all are sleeping, and some of y'all don't even realize how little time you might have and how selfish you are being by not being able to take care of those that you love and those that are around you and yourself. Yourself, man. You got one life. Why should I get to enjoy traveling the world? Why should I get to enjoy driving a G-Wagon? Why should I get to enjoy diamonds around my neck? I'm no better than you. I'm a human being. If I cut my arm right now, you would see that I bleed red blood like every single other person, guys. There's no reason that you shouldn't deserve the same thing. The problem is we have these bad blueprints and we're like, well, we don't have money, so I don't know what to do. Go find money, okay? Go find money, get a loan, go borrow, go sell some shit. I don't care. Or just be miserable and complain that everyone else is at fault, okay? With that said, I'm doing everything I can to make that easier for you guys. If you guys apply and you're like, I don't want to apply because of funding or because of money, I have funding. I've got 4 different funding partners that we've been able to help people that have $0, have no money, or money's a little bit weird. You can work with us. We can literally refer you right over to them. They will get you money and you can get started. And guys, I have to remind you guys, we are starting a business. We are not taking a class. We're not taking a class on how to sew or how to do crochet or how to kite surf, guys, which actually is kind of cool. We are talking about starting a business, and it is going to cost money. It should cost money. Imagine you're sitting there and you're like, man, I don't want to be in my job. I want to get rid of my job. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to take care of my parents. I want to be able to invest. I want to be able to do this, to do that, and have my own time. And we're like, yeah, well, I don't want to spend any money. Fuck you. Okay, because I've spent over $30,000 on this exact same kind of stuff, learning. And sometimes, you know, I remember buying a specific thing, 2018 or something. I bought it. I thought it was going to solve one of my problems. It was shit. Okay, $3,500. Boom. Didn't learn a dang thing from it. But you know what? I realized that with just being in that group, I was able to make connections. Even though the training didn't get exactly what I wanted out of it, I was able to make connections with people that I'm still connected with to this day in this business, okay? And just because I didn't extract the thing that I went into it for, I was able to extract other things out of that. And every single thing that I bought, I go into it and go, man, if I could learn one thing that can get me one deal in this business that's recurring, $1,000 recurring is $12,000 a year. With the profit margins that we have, that's a phenomenal amount of money. Guys, if you wanted to go start a Jimmy John's today, you know what it would cost you? I just looked it up. Let me look at the exact stat. I looked it up. To start a Jimmy John's, they said expect to spend between $356,200 and $647,000 and it sounds like bullshit because of the 2. Why would you add the 200 on? It's weird. But let's just stay between $350,000 and $650,000, okay, to make it simple math. That's what you're looking at to start a Jimmy John's. You want to start a McDonald's? You're looking, this is the exact quote. Those looking to launch a new McDonald's franchise can expect to shell out between $1.314.5 million and $2.306 million. Okay? I get so tired of people saying they want to change their life. They want to travel the world. They want to buy cool shit. They want to have a Lamborghini and a dope house and a this and a that. And they're like, damn, I don't want to spend money. I spent $1,000 on ads. Oh my gosh, this doesn't work. Doesn't work. I spent $1.33 million on ads, man, of my own money. Over $30,000 in programs just on this. That doesn't include the $20,000 one that I just bought in February and the $10,000 one I bought 3 months before that aren't even related to Rank and Rent. They're related to other businesses that complement this. You got to spend money, okay? You got to spend money, and I'm helping you to get that money, but just realize that you can either spend your time that you can't get back, or you can go and you can get money that's renewable. You can get the blueprint. You could go make some damn money, go change your life, and then you could pay that money back, and we're on to the next thing. Guys, this is coming from somebody that crawled out of $60,000 of debt in an 8-month period. I went from barely scraping by to making 7 figures in 2020 and have not looked back. And I promise you, I will never make less than 7 figures as long as I'm alive. Right now, my goal is to get to 7 figures per month. We are between a quarter and half of the way there. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. I'm learning just like you guys. I'm growing just like you guys. I love this. I eat this. I sleep on this. That's all I think about is this business model. So with that said, guys, I'm going to bring on our guest right now, and we are going to crack. Here we go. Francesca Ravanelli.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good, because I didn't know if my mic was working, and I was just talking. I'm sweating. The AC is not working, and I'm just cruising. And how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm amazing. I have never felt better. So thanks for hopping on. I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to make this to the point. We're going to get some value for everyone watching. I already let everybody know this is a pre-recorded episode of the DRE Show, episode 32. And our topic today, Francesca, I haven't even told you, is dominating the DRE space, DRE, digital real estate space, as a woman with zero previous sales experience. So Francesca, why don't you tell everybody? I know we did an interview a couple months ago inside of the free group. Let's go ahead and tell everybody how you and I met so we can get it on the same page. And do not give the watered down version of how we met and how you came over to the promised land of Evergreen, which is our digital real estate company. But go ahead and fill everyone in, or I can.
The promised land. Well, I was working for an SEO company.
Hold up. Tell everyone where you're at right now, physically. Like where are you living?
St. George, Utah.
St. George, Utah. That's where your boy has a house. And right now, I'm in Africa. But keep going.
I was working for an SEO company in town.
Okay.
And I think you went into my LinkedIn and messaged me to see if I was open to work for you. And I said no. And then you kept asking. And then eventually we got on a call and I said no again. And then you called me again. And then I ended up working with you instead.
Amazing. And it's been 4 years.
No, I think 5.
Yeah. I don't even know what it's been, but it's been a great ride. Guys, that's not actually, it's about 50% true. That story, first of all, I found her because of somebody that used to work for me, and they told me that they went to school with her. And as I was looking for somebody, as we were scaling, I said, who can I find? And I was like, man, instead of training someone from the ground up, let me go find somebody who already knows something about marketing. So I started going to LinkedIn and I started looking at all the marketing companies in my own backyard. And I saw your name pop up and I was like, dude, that's the same person that they told me about, because we were thinking about hiring you before, or we had talked about it. So instead of doing that, because I could tell you didn't use LinkedIn, I slid into your DMs over on the IG. Did I not?
I think you also slid in my LinkedIn DMs.
I'm sure I did. I slide in all DMs. I slid into DMs. And I said, are you open to discussing working for other companies? You said, sure, let's talk about it. You came in, we discussed. I think I made you an offer. She called me about a week later and she's like, yeah, I'm just going to stay with this shit ass company I'm with because I don't like money. And I said, well, you just must not have heard me correctly. Come back in to the office. Let's discuss. The rest is history. Here we are 4 or 5 years later, made a lot of money together, and I'm excited to have you on the show, Francesca. Guys, another thing you guys got to know about Francesca, and Francesca, I'm only saying this because I want people to understand how significant this is, but Francesca is originally from where?
Italy.
She's got that Italian mafia background.
I don't.
Just kidding. But she's originally from Italy, was in Italy 16 years?
Yeah, I was born and raised, and then when I was 16, I moved to California for an exchange program. Then I moved back for a year, and then I came here for college.
You'd never guess it because you can't even hear her accent. But this English is not her first language. And for those of you that are listening and we're getting more and more people that English is not their native language, watching our stuff, consuming our content. She's doing this in a language that she didn't even grow up learning. She spent more years in Italy than she has in the US, because you're still a youngin as of right now. But I just want to note that, only because I think it's fascinating. And when you move to another country, that also brings another element. Even if you could speak the language well, it's still, because I'm in another country right now, there's still that, like, I don't want to call it an insecurity, but you sometimes you don't feel welcome, and it's just you kind of feel whatever. So that's another thing that I want to talk about a little bit today. So I've got a bunch of questions for Francesca, but let me just give a little bit of a background. We're going to keep this to about 25 more minutes at the end. There's not going to be any Q&A because you guys aren't live. So we're going to go 25 minutes and cut this right off. But let me just give a little bit of background, and then I've got a list of questions I want to ask Francesca related to this. So when Francesca started working with me, she did not, we had no intention of doing sales. She had no intention of doing sales. She was just going to be like a project manager and manage all of the stuff I wasn't good at. The websites, the ads, the content, the backlinks, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. And I even remember about a year or maybe 2 years in, maybe 3 years in, I said to you, I said, Francesca, if you did sales, you would crush it. Do you remember me saying this?
Yeah.
I said to her, I said, you should try sales. I think you would absolutely murder it. You'd never done a sales call in your life. You're like, I don't know. I'm actually, I kind of like this better. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just telling you, I think you would crush it. And you're like, okay. And I'm not saying that you didn't think that or you didn't agree, but you were like, you just weren't interested in it. Okay. And so what happened is she did an amazing job. She handled, when we were scaling up our business in 2020, I was handling sales. She was handling everything else. She was dealing with our VAs. She was doing content. She was managing content. She was doing backlinks. She was doing GMB. She was doing reviews. She was talking to clients. She did everything else. Okay. Well, at the end of 2021, when I started my digital landlords program, which you guys should know about because it's all over this channel, it's all over our Facebook group, our Discord channel, etc. I sat down with her and I said, Francesca, I got a bunch of people reaching out to me. I'm going to be launching this program where not only are we going to be doing this for clients, but I'm going to start teaching other people how to do this as well. And I said, I need your help. I need you to step up. I need you to basically run the company because I'm going to have to give this all of my attention because I'm not starting a program and not having it work. I'm going to make the best program on the internet. But that means I need you to take over not only what you're doing, but what I'm doing. And I need you to run the whole company. Do you remember this conversation?
Yeah.
And I think it was a couple of conversations, but I remember specifically one of them. And I just said, and honestly, in my head, I was like, well, she's probably just going to maintain. She's probably, in my head, I was like, I hope she just can maintain the revenue that we've gotten to. And she did a good job doing that, but it didn't take long. And all of a sudden she started cranking out deals. She started doing sales. She started freaking plugging away and actually doing deals. And I don't even know, have I ever done any formal sales training with you, or have you learned everything from training and or watching sales calls?
Honestly, I watched the videos. No, you haven't, because you didn't even know I was starting.
Yeah, I think you just told me that you're like, yeah, I got a deal. And I'm like, what? I was like, what? Remember?
Yeah.
That was a good day. That was a happy day for me when you sent me a voice message. You're like, yeah, I just got a deal. That was a good day. I think anyway, guys, so I want to jump into this and talk about what it's like, because Francesca has been running our company and she has basically assumed my old role as, you know, the sales manager essentially. And she's maintaining and managing everything else. So I got a bunch of questions that I want to ask you, and then obviously you can chime in. But I want you guys to remember that this is someone with no sales experience. English is a second language, moved here when she was 16 and had no interest in doing sales, and has only watched our training videos, has never got any formal training from me one-on-one, and is absolutely crushing the game. So Francesca, question number one for you. How many deals have you closed as of May 25th? It's May 25th of the time of recording, May 25th, 2023. How many deals have you closed?
7.
7 deals. Okay. Now, that's impressive. That's really, really impressive. You've closed more deals than a handful of people that I know that should be that are supposed to be good salespeople. So that's really, really impressive. Anything that like you want to say as far as like what motivated you to want to start doing sales? Because you had no interest.
I didn't, I think, well, I was doing like all the back end for our current clients, and I was watching for some reason. I had to go back to one of your videos from like the training.
Okay.
And then I think you told me, hey, can you just like watch all of them so you're like on the same page? So I started watching all of them, and then that was it. And then you had a referral, which wasn't really like he was pretty much on board or something, and it was very easy to close. And then when I did that is when I realized, okay, isn't really much of like an actual sales call. I think it was the moment I realized that doing the sales for this wasn't really like a sale, if that makes any sense.
Totally. I say that all the time. I talk about, guys, I've done door-to-door. I've sold software. I've done SEO sales. I've sold websites. I've sold white labeled software for other people. I've sold logos. I've sold consulting all over the phone and over Zoom. This does not feel like sales. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but what I'm saying is if you follow the process, and what we do, you guys should know this, is we give what we're selling, which is leads. We let them test it, try it, touch it, feel it, get comfortable with it. They get to basically test drive the car before they buy it. And then all we do is walk them through the process and show them logically why this makes sense. And what I love about selling digital real estate, and again, we're not selling our websites, we're renting our websites, but what I love about getting deals in this space is you're not selling an expense, you're selling an investment, because this not only pays for itself, but it can 2x, 3x. We've seen it 5, 10x what people spend with us. We've seen it as much as 10x what they've made that month with the leads that we've sent them. So it's so refreshing to have conversations with people that are already hungry to grow and just logically explain how this makes sense over what they're currently paying for, than selling a home security system, having to get people all emotional and telling them, well, what happens if someone breaks in, and what ifs, what about if your kid's sneaking out, and all of this emotional, you know, high pressure stuff. These are very chill sales calls. So I agree with you. I don't feel, to me, like even the cold calls, I get a little bit of a butterfly even to this day. But when I'm doing a sales call, man, I don't even like my blood pressure doesn't raise even 1 degree, because it's just having a conversation with somebody that's already interested. So I love that. How did you get yourself though to make those first few phone calls? Like, you got the referral, and I think this is important to note. Sometimes you just need to get that first deal. Maybe it's $200 a month, $500 a month. Maybe it is a referral, but after that referral, when you started actually doing cold calls to get like deals that we've never even talked to these customers, just like you would anybody else would. How did you get yourself to start making those cold calls? Because that's scary.
I was reading the script.
You were just straight up, you were calling and just reading.
Yeah, my first call, I was reading the script, and then I think I got very lucky because that's what, like, the first one that I closed, I was reading the script, but then the guy kept asking like questions, and I got nervous and I stopped reading the script and I started answering in a way that I think if you were there, you would disagree, like giving too much information all at once. But then that day, a lead came in, he gave the estimate, closed the job that same day. And then the next day he was like, okay, like I'm ready to jump on a Zoom call. So I was very lucky. That was like the first actual deal. So I think I kind of got lucky. And then after I closed that, which was very easy to do, then I felt like I could close anything, even if the other ones weren't as easy.
But and I appreciate you saying that, and Francesca's being humble, guys. Everybody's first deal is lucky. Everybody, in order to get your first deal, if you're listening to this right now and you're like, man, I've been doing this for a minute and I haven't got a deal, it's because you haven't asked enough people for money. Everybody's first deal is luck. Maybe even your second and third deal is luck. You talk to enough of the right people and you find the person that's already been looking for it, already been thinking about it, and you just get the deal. My first deal selling home security systems was the exact same way. So it's just a matter of, you see some of the people that come in and they get a deal really quick. Sometimes it's skill, but a lot of times, if not all the time, it's because they asked enough of the right people for money and the timing was right and they got the deal. So now I want to ask you this, because I remember with me specifically, when I first started doing sales calls, I had to have everything perfect. I had to like have the room quiet. I had to, my kids had to be out of the house. Like I had to be very, very focused. Do you have anything that you do to like kind of put yourself in that zone when you're doing, and I'm talking about not the closing call, but the cold calls, the prospecting calls, which I think is more scary than the closing.
Yeah, and I actually do it for both. I do it for the cold calls and I do it for the Zoom. I just can't have anyone around. Like
Yeah,
I have to go somewhere where I know nobody can listen, which is weird because like we record our calls. So it's not that I'm like keeping a secret. It's just at the moment I'm doing it, I don't want that pressure. I don't know what it is.
I
So
get
that's
it.
the only thing I have is I don't want anyone around.
I used to have to, and sometimes I still do this. I used to have to get in my car and drive so that my mind wouldn't overthink it. And so I'd have my little list or whatever, and I would get in my car and I'd have to drive. It sounds really funny, but that would distract me enough that I could actually make those prospecting calls. Guys, this is the reality. Doing sales, making those cold calls, it still gives me butterflies, but how good does it feel when you make that call and you get that person that's like, yeah, actually, that sounds interesting. How good does that feel, Francesca? Tell us right now.
It feels nice because that's when, you're done going through the list, especially when it's like one of the last few people you have on the list.
Yes. It is more than nice to me. You've seen me. I do the fist bump, the freaking scream. I've rung bells. I've punched walls. I've chest bumped Kyle. Your boy gets pretty excited. Is that not true?
Very.
Very. Enough so that it's like we got our neighbors in our building that are like, dude, why are these guys so loud? So okay. No, it's the truth. It's the truth. So next question I have for you. How do you overcome, or how did you overcome the insecurity of being a female in a male dominated industry? Because I'm reversing this, right? I'm putting myself in your shoes. Let's say I'm in a female dominated industry. What's a female dominated industry? Let me give an example. What would you say is a female dominated industry? Let's say like what's this called when you go to these, when you get like Botox stuff? What are those places called? Not a beauty salon or a beauty bar, a what?
Aren't nurses doing that?
Yeah, what do they call those shops though? You go to a med spa. Let's say I'm in a med spa, and maybe that's not even a good example. Let's say med spas were female. Okay, let's say I was doing this. Let's say I was like doing some kind of nails, right? Like nails. I was a nail tech, right? Because it's very female dominated. I would be very intimidated going in and trying to sell the latest shellac. Is that what it's called? Francesca? Is it shellac part like something on the nail, or am I just hearing stuff?
I feel like you know more than I did. Well, I've
Okay,
never heard of
well, I think I've heard my wife say something about shellac. Okay, imagine I'm thinking about myself going into a nail salon and being like, hey, check out this new product. And they're like, dog, who are you? You're like, your nails, like you have what, a clear coat? Which, guys, I recommend the clear coat for all of the guys listening. Best decision ever. pretty excited to get another one when I get back, making my dad proud over here. How did you overcome the insecurity of, I mean, there's no and ifs or buts about it. This is a very male dominated industry. You're talking to males. Most of the business owners you're talking to are males, although we do have some female clients, or did. And a lot of the lead generators, a lot of the people that are our competitors that are also doing this are males. So how do you overcome, or how did you overcome that insecurity of being a female in a male dominated industry? Just be real here.
I really never had that insecurity, if I have to be honest.
I knew
Like
that.
I've never felt insecure about it because I was a female. I think my only insecurity was always like I can't really understand sometimes, especially when someone's like from the South and has like a pretty thick accent I haven't been around. That's like more of an insecurity for me than being like a female in the male industry. And I don't know if that's because like I have also studied something where there's a lot of males. So I don't know if that's why. I'm just kind of
Oh, are
used to
you
it, but
trying to bring in your accounting degree?
my accounting degree. Like I think there was two girls in all of my classes, maybe three.
Let's
So
just set the record. Francesca has a master's of accounting. Okay. Nice work. And it's, by the way, it's hanging in her office. If anyone does come and visit Evergreen headquarters, you're going to see it loud and proud sitting on her special little shelf next to her plant. Francesca, golf clap for you. um,
anyway, I think you can just take it as an advantage, like, and not because I'm smarter than guys, but because I don't see the insecurity. And then it's just a way for you to be different than everyone else. It's like if you did nails and it's a salon full of girls, it's going to be very easy for a girl to come in and remember you because you're the only guy. Like that's the same thing. It's not that you would feel insecure, right?
I love that answer. And I've asked that question. That's why I asked you it again, because I know where you stand on this. And I love that because that's exactly, I know, you can back me up on this. I remember when we were hiring our first couple setters, we had this conversation. I said, we need to get a female because if we can find the right person, they're going to be, they're inherently, even if they deliver the same pitch, they're more memorable because it's not as common for a woman to call. And we just barely got somebody to close for us, a new closer who is also a female. Is this not correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying, obviously, I'm a male. I've had phenomenal success. It's not that if you're a male, you can't, but I'm telling you as a female, first of all, you shouldn't be insecure. That's why I want to ask Francesca. I love that mindset that she has. She's never felt it. And I can back her up. And I truly, she doesn't feel that. But not only should you not think that, but you should also realize it is an advantage because you are inherently different. And the whole game is being different and standing out and being memorable and people going, let me listen to this person because it's not the same as the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So if somebody is listening, that's a female, how do you overcome? Well, let me ask a better question. Have you had any insecurities with doing sales in this industry, with getting deals inside the rank and rent industry? Has there been any at all that you've had to deal with?
Yeah, I think that's the language.
The
Is
language.
that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
that's great. Okay, I would love to talk about that if you're comfortable, because there are a lot of people that are starting to watch our content that are from other countries, that English is a second language. How did you, and the funny thing is you speak perfect English, but I think it's just that thing in the back of your head. And I can relate to some degree because even here, like I just did an interview a couple weeks ago here in the country. And I was sitting there in my head going, man, I'm pretty confident in this language, this local language. But if you asked me a question, I really needed to go deep. My natural instinct would be to flip over to English, but I'm like, I can't because people won't understand. So for those that are not English speakers, can you give any advice on how to like not let that stop you from calling and how you just push through it anyway? Because I get it. It's a thing.
Well, I know that you say I have like a good English, and I think I do, but there are certain times, especially when I'm cold calling, because you don't see the person face to face. It's through the phone. And sometimes when you're cold calling, they're doing something else, right? They're not prepared for your call. So they'll be driving or they'll be, I don't know, there may be background noise. And when that happens, especially if they're from a different area where they have like a slightly different accent. I feel like I keep asking, what was that? Or like kind of like have them repeat it because I don't understand. And that's when I get thrown off because then I get insecure because I feel like I'm not sounding professional. I get nervous, then I get even worse, and I just say and yeah, so that's my biggest insecurity.
So how do you talk? So what she's referring to, guys, is we've all called the cowboy, the concrete cowboy down from Texas. He's talking like this. So how do you talk to Kyle then? Guys, if you are not part of this group, in our Facebook group, our Discord channel, you've not seen Kyle. He's 6'9". He's 250, way too many pounds. The dude sounds like he's from the most deepest backwoods of Texas, and he grew up like 2 hours from where Francesca's at and where I have a house in St. George, Utah. How do you understand? No, I'm kidding. Dude has a thick accent though. Let's be honest. Shout out to Cowboy Kyle. There's a reason we call him Cowboy Kyle. Have you ever had anyone actually call you out on that, or do you think that's just in your head?
I've had people call me out on that.
And say what? That they can't understand you?
Sometimes they just, I mean, do you want to like,
Well,
I
like
had
I'm
a
saying, I
girl.
think a lot of times, like, can people recognize that maybe you're from somebody else, somewhere else? Maybe, but at the same time, like, I think that a lot of times we think it's a bigger deal than it is, and it's not. Like, if you called me or somebody called me, I don't care. I mean, there's, you know what I like. It doesn't bother me. Here's what I'm getting at. The thing I love about this sale is we are letting the leads do the selling for us. And if we can get them leads, and guys, remember, we're only targeting people that are already paying for leads. If we can get them leads, the leads are going to convince them that this product and service works. And we're not going to have to do that much work to get the deal closed. It's not so whether you're black, white, brown, orange, pink, purple, whether you speak English, Arabic, Italian as your friend, I don't care. And neither does the business owner, as long as you let the leads do the selling. Now, when you make that initial prospecting call, I can see what you're saying. So I guess I'm just trying to get some advice for people that are not native English speakers, because there's a lot right now, and we're seeing more and more because the internet is connecting the entire world. So is there any other advice you could give for someone that's not an English speaker?
Yeah, so I would say, and this only happens in the cold call, like when you're in the Zoom, you've already proven yourself. But even myself, like if someone is calling me, we're in the hooking phase, right? You're trying to hook a business owner, and someone sounds foreign, I don't trust them as much. And I'm foreign myself. But like someone calls me speaking in English and they have an accent and they're trying to sell me something,
You
it's
don't
not gonna
trust
sound.
them?
I don't trust them as much as if it was just like an American. And I feel like
That's
I can
so
say that
funny.
because I'm not
That's
even
so
from here.
funny.
But
Okay.
it's like an irrational, like I can't really, I think everyone has this for the
Okay.
most part, unless you live in a very diverse country. But if you don't,
That's fair. I think
anyone has that. And so I think it depends, and this sucks, but it's true. It depends what accent you have. Like if you have a British accent, I think it's different than if you have a Spanish accent or whatever that may be.
that's fair.
Even with mine, though, they don't understand where I'm from. So I have the same issue. And what I've done is I run the cold call normally. If nothing, like there's no hiccups, I sound smooth, I understand the other person, I don't bring it up. But if I can sense that he's like, wait, what? Like I can't really understand you. Anything like that comes up, then I've learned this trick and I just kind of throw out in there. I say, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear my accent. I'm actually from, and I'll literally say, I'm actually from Italy, but I've lived in the US for this amount of time.
Love it.
Like we work with, and that makes me feel better and I regain my confidence back.
I love that. And I think that's genius. It goes back to what we talk about inside of the program, right? Bring up the objection first. If you can sense, or if you think it's going to be an objection, then you bring it up first. So let me give you an example. I used to knock on doors and sometimes people would open the door and go like, oh, I don't want to buy magazines. I don't want to buy shoe cleaner. I don't like all this. I don't want to buy cookies. Right. And so finally I was like, I'm tired of hearing this stuff. So what I did is I would knock on the door And they would answer, I go, hey, don't worry, I'm not here selling you magazines. Don't worry, I showered today. Like something like that. And I would get one of two reactions. I would get people going, ha, 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 ha. Oh, that's so funny. Thank goodness, right? And I'm like, yeah, dog, I'm about to fucking sell you on this system, so you shouldn't be laughing. But I love that is you bring it up first, because if you just avoid it and it's a thing, it's way different than if you bring it up first. And so, yeah, just bring it up. Don't be ashamed of it. Say, hey, I'm from Italy. I've been here since I was 16. I've been, whatever. And people are like, oh, that's really cool. But I think that's genius. And it's actually what I used to do with my door-to-door sales. It works like a charm.
And sometimes they also feel bad, which is nice because they'll be like, "Oh no, you're fine." Like
Yeah.
that's okay.
No, you actually don't say it. They're like, actually, no, you're totally good. You're doing great. I love that. Good job.
Yeah.
And I didn't teach you that. You just inherently did that. So there's a little tip for you non-native English people. If you guys call and keep getting that, or you sense that, you can call and you can make it a joke. Like I know we have Joseph the Nigerian. Joseph the Nigerian is absolutely crushing the game. 6,000 plus per month. And he's got a Nigerian accent, and the dude's killing it. And Nigeria is one of those places where there's a lot of people that are scamming, right? I know that there's some other areas that we get a lot of cold calling, like India. There's a lot of people cold calling. Call people up and say, hey, this is what's his name? Joseph. This is Joseph. I'm from Nigeria. Don't worry. I'm not going to scam you. Ha, ha, ha. I had this happen to me the other day. I went to this gym opening here in West Africa. This guy introduces himself and he goes, I said, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Nick. And he says, yeah, my name's Jihad. He's like, don't worry, I'm clean, or I'm not into that. I'm not whatever. I'm not into the super the terrorism, like all that stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't even cross my mind. But you can tell that other people have thought that's weird. So he brings it up first. So anyway, I think that's a really good hack. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I think it's amazing. So great. I love it. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, that's it.
Okay. Last two questions I have as we wrap this up. How do you respond when a contractor acts weird or arrogant towards you?
Well, I feel like those two can mean different things. Like when someone is arrogant, I get not arrogant back, but I found that the best way is to be very stern yourself. And that's usually when someone is arrogant, that's when you're going to have to do the pull back.
Yes. Okay. What about when someone's weird to you? Like, and is that typically when they're weird, you get more of the sense they think it's like a language thing?
If they're insecure, that's usually when it happens. Yeah.
Got it.
I've never just had someone, and if they are weird, that's when I usually bring up, let me just send you a couple of free jobs, and then the weirdness goes away.
Again, back to what we're saying, let the leads do the selling. You are just guiding them through the sales process. Francesca, you have high, it's called EQ, emotional intelligence, because that is a thing, right? If you got, one of the things with sales is you mirror, right? If somebody's very quiet and very reserved, and you're just sitting there and just like in their face, it's not as effective. You want to mirror their energy, and you want to kind of be a little bit more relaxed and like this, and like you're smoking a little bit of weed with Mr. Isaac. Just kidding, Isaac, if you see this. That's how you want to act. Somebody starts being a freaking mega dick to you, you give it right back to them. You match their intensity. And that's the only way. When someone, and you can tell, you get on the phone and somebody's like, they try to take over the call because that's what they're used to. In fact, I remember this specific example. I was pitching this guy, and I was pitching this wife, and she was really cool and really nice. I could tell we were going to get the deal. And husband comes in all hot and on fire. And I'm like he came in and he's like, what's the difference between this and this other company? And I just freaking let him have it. And I said, I said something to the extent of like, I can't remember. I said a snarky remark, and I just shot it to him right back into his face. And he was kind of like, whoa, like no one dares talk to me like that. But I did. When people are acting aggressive towards you, you have to match that intensity, or they're going to have all control over the situation, and they're going to control the conversation, and you're never going to get that deal. So, Francesca, you've been reading, you've been studying, or you just have high emotional intelligence. Either way, golf clap. Nice work, Francesca. Maybe it's that accounting degree. I don't know. But for the record, I did not hire Francesca because of the accounting degree. I could care less. I couldn't care less. She actually wasn't even graduated from college when she started working with me. So that's just a bonus. Thank you for getting that degree. It's really making the company proud. Okay. I had one last question, but I think we already answered it. It was, do you get intimidated calling men and trying to close men? And you already answered that you don't even think twice about it. Anything else that you want to add? I have been very, 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 very pleased, not only with having you doing all the back end, but seeing you now evolve into taking over the sales and growing the company. And now she's even going a step past that now, where she knows how to do the back end. She knows how to do all the backlinks and the content and the websites. She knows how to do everything on the back end. She learned how to do the prospecting. Then she learned how to do the cold calling. And now, the closing. And now, a couple weeks ago, she hit me up and she's like, hey, why don't we just get a setter and a closer? And I can just manage them. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Let's do it. So now she's going to even the next step, which is getting a setter, training them, getting a closer, training them, which I think we found, one of both. And she's now going to be an operator, she's going to be a business owner, not just an employee. Guys, if you guys have read the E-Myth or any of these other books, there's two different types of people. There's the person that is in the business. That's I think they call him the technician in that book. That's doing everything, that's making the calls. I have this bad tendency where I get in and I want to do it all. But if you guys want to grow big business, you guys got to think about this as you're building a business that's generating cash. You're building this machine that spits off cash, and you are just the project manager over it. You're not sitting there. You're not actually, doing the different mechanisms. You're not actually doing the mechanics. The machine is. The machine's creating the cash. But you are, okay, maybe I'm changing the fuel, or maybe I'm changing the aluminum that we're using. Like I'm picturing this piece of metal, like a rocket almost. And that's what you have to be. If you want to grow big business, you have to be a business owner that's building a business. And remember, you are not the business. So Francesca, I've been very, very pleased so far. And anything else that you want to add for those that are women, for those that are non-native speakers, for those that, let me ask one last question. What about those that don't have sales experience? Like, did that not mess with your head at all? You're like, well, Nick's good at it, but he also did door to door. Like, did that mess with your head at all? Or are you like, I'm just going to go for it?
No, I really just went for it. I do want to add something though.
Please.
I think one of the
Francesca, let me add
hardest
something real quick, and then I want you to finish your thought. Francesca, the comp level is really climbing. And by comp, I mean the confidence. And 0 is bad and 10 is good. I feel like the comp is really teetering up in those upper echelons right now.
Is it?
I like it. I like it. Go ahead.
I wanted to add that from my experience, I feel like the hardest calls are actually with a female owner, which doesn't happen often. But whenever I hear a female and she says, and I'm like, hey, are you the business owner? And they say yes, that's when I get nervous. A lot more than a guy. Because, think about it. When you talk to a guy, they mostly want to end the conversation. If everything is pretty logical and smooth, they're less likely to ask you questions. Females are more, in my experience, they don't trust as much as guys do. And then they always bring up issues that I'm like, how the fuck did you even think about that? Why are you even that? Like, that's never been an issue. Why are you even bringing that up? Like, I've never had that thought with a guy. It's always girls that bring up shit that doesn't matter. And I feel like that happens even in like relationships, right? Like if you have a wife, you know what I mean? Like compared to Kyle, if you had a problem, it would be much easier to talk to Kyle. Not that, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It's no, and I also think that, yeah, no, I could see what you're saying. Now, we haven't really, I think I've only cold called a handful of ladies over the past how many years, but it is different. It is different. Nonetheless, Francesca, thank you very much for hopping on this call. For everybody that's listening to this call right now, this is somebody who did not know, well, they knew digital marketing. You knew how to do some SEO, and you knew how to do blog posts. And I mean, you had your fundamentals, but she didn't know what rank and rent was. She didn't know what cold calling, like she knew what it was. She'd never done it. She didn't know how to close. She didn't know how to run ads. She didn't know how to do any of this stuff. And she also didn't grow up in the United States. She also doesn't speak English as her first language. She also didn't have sales experience and has now closed 7 deals. And by the way, that's not 7 deals over 4 years. That's 7 deals in like the last couple months. Like, when did you actually start like focusing on sales?
End of February.
End of February. So let's say
But I
March.
haven't closed anything late, like the last couple of weeks, because I've been trying to scale things
Yeah,
up.
we've been moving your attention a little bit, but I appreciate the honesty. So let's say February, if we include it, February, March, April, May, 4 months, 7 deals. So the question is, if she can do it and I can do it, why can't you? Francesca, appreciate you coming on to the D.R.E Show, episode 32. This is going to be a memorable one. And thank you guys. We'll talk soon.